God says. Your future just shifted. But if you ignore this, you'll return to what I pulled you from. My beloved child, a sudden shaking is moving through your atmosphere right now, and Archangel Michael stands beside you with his sword lifted high, saying, "Listen closely, your future just shifted." This is not a small shift. This is not a normal message. This is a divine interruption. Something in the spiritual realm has just been rearranged on your behalf, and heaven is urging you not to take this lightly. For the path you were on has been rerouted, redirected, and rewritten, because God himself refuses to let you return to what he already rescued you from. Archangel Michael is whispering this with urgency in your spirit. What you escaped was not accidental. It was a divine extraction. There was a place, a situation, a person, a cycle that heaven pulled you out of because it was draining you, sabotaging you, and delaying what was meant to bloom inside you. You may not have even realized how dangerous it was to your destiny. You may have thought it was normal. You may have thought you were strong enough to handle it. But God knew that if you stayed there one more season, it would have crushed the greatness he placed within you. Now listen carefully. This shift you feel around you is not confusion. It is confirmation. The sudden changes you see, the people pulling back, the doors that no longer feel right, the opportunities that suddenly feel uncomfortable, these are signs that heaven is pulling you forward again. Archangel Michael is guarding the route so you do not go backwards. Because what is behind you is comfortable, but it is also contaminated. And right now, God is saying, if you ignore this shift, you will walk back into what I rescued you from. Something is being exposed. Something is being removed. Something is being unmasked, not to punish you, but to protect you. The enemy has been attempting to lure you back into familiar places, old habits, old relationships, old versions of yourself, because he knows you are inches away from a major breakthrough. A door is about to open, one that requires your spirit to be clean, clear, and fully aligned. If you step backward now, that door will not open. Archangel Michael shows me a vision of you standing at a crossroads. One road is bright, new, untraveled, full of purpose. The other road looks familiar, almost too familiar, but it leads to heaviness, disappointment, and cycles you prayed to escape. Right now, heaven is steering your feet toward the road of transformation. But this road requires obedience, even when you don't understand the entire picture yet. You may feel lonely right now, but that loneliness is protection. You may feel unsure, but that uncertainty is spiritual recalibration. You may feel things slipping away, but that release is your elevation beginning. This moment is sacred. It is delicate. It is decisive. And right here, Archangel Michael says, pause before making any move. Something is being revealed. And if you move too quickly, you'll miss the warning and the blessing hidden inside it. You are being lifted into a higher timeline, a divine timeline. A version of your future that is cleaner, stronger, and heaven-backed. But to access it, you must not return emotionally, mentally, or physically to what God has already removed from your path. Do not try to revive what heaven buried. Do not chase what God blocked. Do not fight to keep what was harming your spirit behind the scenes. Your future has shifted. The realm around you has shifted. Even your spirit is shifting. And though you may not see the full picture yet, heaven is preparing to show you why this shift had to happen so suddenly. There is a revelation coming, a truth, a moment of clarity. And when it appears, everything will make sense. But right now, hold your position. Lean in. Listen deep. Because the next message Archangel Michael is preparing to reveal will unlock your understanding, and you do not want to miss it. Before you scroll, breathe, because what unfolds next carries the key to your next season. Type "I align with heaven" in the comments if your spirit is receiving this. Blessing code 144 is now released. My treasured soul, there is a stirring in the unseen realm right now, and Archangel Michael stands watch over you as this shift deepens. What is happening around you is not random turbulence. It is a divine dismantling of everything that once tried to enslave your destiny. You are stepping into a spiritual atmosphere where heaven is reordering your steps, even when it feels as though the ground beneath you is moving. This is not instability. It is spiritual reconstruction. God is tearing down the old paths so you cannot wander back into the shadows He rescued you from. And while you may feel the tension of this moment, it is actually proof that heaven is preparing you for the exact future that your spirit has been crying out for, often in prayers you forgot you prayed. Archangel Michael is revealing something powerful right now. The shift you are experiencing is not just external. It is internal. Your thoughts, your desires, your cravings, your emotional responses, everything is being recalibrated to match the future God has ordained for you. You may notice that things you once tolerated now irritate your spirit. Places you once found comfort in now feel heavy. People you once trusted now feel distant or unclear. This is because God is tuning your frequency to a higher spiritual vibration. You are no longer aligned with what once held you. The chains are gone, even if the memories are still fading. And heaven is urging you to understand that this inner disconnect is not confusion. It is divine confirmation that your spirit has outgrown the room it once lived in. There is a reason you feel the pull to move differently. Heaven is guiding your steps away from environments that quietly drained your strength. There were patterns in your life that disguised themselves as comfort, yet carried the weight of sabotage. They kept you in cycles of self-doubt, emotional exhaustion, and spiritual stagnation. God did not remove these connections or opportunities to punish you. He removed them because they were too small for the future He is leading you into. Some things could stay with the old you, but they cannot survive with the version God is forming inside you now. Heaven has chosen you for elevation, and elevation always requires separation. Archangel Michael is showing me a vision of you standing before a door that is glowing with divine light. It is a door that only opens when you release the weight of your past. The more you let go, the brighter the door becomes. The more you resist going back, the clearer the path ahead grows. But there is also a shadow doorway behind you, representing the life you once knew. It is quiet, familiar, comfortable, but it holds nothing for your future. And heaven is warning you that one of the enemy's greatest strategies in this season is to lure you backward with the illusion of ease. The enemy wants you to believe that nothing better is coming. He wants you to miss the door that God Himself has prepared. But Archangel Michael stands between you and this deception, declaring, "Do not be fooled by the comfort of what once was. Something greater is calling you, and heaven will not allow you to diminish your destiny by returning to what drained you." Every time you feel a tug toward old patterns, that is spiritual warfare. Every time you feel nostalgic for a version of your past that was harmful, that is the enemy trying to distort your memory. Every time you feel tempted to reconnect with someone who broke you, heaven is sending you a warning. Not everything that feels familiar is safe. Not everything that feels easy is God. Sometimes the hardest path is the holiest path, because it requires discipline, trust, and surrender. You are being prepared for something monumental. Your future has shifted into alignment with God's timing, and because of that, the enemy is desperate to confuse you. But hear this clearly. Confusion cannot stop elevation. Distraction cannot undo what heaven has written. Detours cannot cancel destiny. What God shifted cannot be unshifted. What He aligned cannot be misaligned unless you willingly step out of position. That is why heaven is urging you to stay alert, stay grounded, and stay spiritually awake. This is not the time to act on impulse. This is not the time to make emotional decisions. This is the time to walk with intention, with clarity, and with divine guidance. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that the next season of your life will not look like the last. What is coming is purer, safer, stronger, and covered in God's light. You are stepping into environments where your spirit will flourish instead of shrink. You are being guided toward people who will honor your purpose instead of drain it. You are being aligned with opportunities that carry heaven's fingerprint instead of chaos. But you must be willing to release the old version of yourself to step into the new one. You must stop trying to fix what God has already closed. You must stop revisiting what He removed. The old chapter is not evil. It is simply expired. This moment is sacred. Heaven is shaping you, refining you, strengthening you, and preparing you for revelation that will change your understanding of everything. Something is approaching that will explain the sudden shift, the sudden silence, the sudden separation. And when it arrives, it will unlock a clarity so deep that you will thank God for every closed door. Hold steady, because what is coming next carries heaven's signature. Before you scroll, breathe deeply, because the next message holds the missing piece your spirit has been waiting for. Type "I will not go back" in the comments if this message is touching your spirit. Blessing code 333 is released. My radiant one, there is a divine urgency wrapping around your spirit right now, and Archangel Michael is drawing even closer as this message deepens. You are standing on the edge of a spiritual threshold, and heaven is preparing to reveal something that will shake the dust off every part of your destiny. What you feel in your atmosphere is not random. It is not anxiety. It is not uncertainty. It is the vibration of a breakthrough forming in the unseen realm. A shift of this magnitude does not arrive quietly. It comes with disruption. It comes with spiritual noise. It comes with the sudden awareness that what once fit your life can no longer stand beside you. And if you look closely, you will see that everything around you is testifying to this truth. God is moving you into a future so vast, so protected, and so intentional that the old version of you would not have survived it. Archangel Michael is showing me a vision of a massive curtain being pulled back. Behind it is a future that was hidden from you until now because you were not ready to see it. But something in your spirit has matured. Something in your character has strengthened. Something in your soul has awakened. You have been evolving quietly, even on days you felt tired or confused. Heaven has been shaping you, molding you, refining your inner world so that you would be prepared to step into what is coming. And now, as this curtain lifts, the enemy is terrified, because you are finally stepping into the identity God always saw in you. There is a warning being delivered with tenderness, but with divine seriousness. The enemy will attempt to lure you back into familiarity one last time before this revelation unfolds. He will try to pull you toward old distractions, old temptations, old emotional wounds, old patterns, even old versions of relationships that once drained you. He does this because he knows that if he cannot destroy your destiny, he will try to delay it. And his greatest weapon in this season is nostalgia. He wants you to miss what is ahead by longing for what you have already outgrown. But Archangel Michael stands in front of you, sword blazing with heaven's light, declaring, "Do not be deceived by what once felt safe. You have shifted, and what is behind you can no longer sustain the weight of your calling. Heaven is reminding you that growth often feels like discomfort, separation, and silence. And though the season may feel like you are shedding layers of your old self, it is actually evidence that your spirit is rising to meet your future. Growth is not always glamorous. Sometimes it looks like walking away. Sometimes it looks like letting go. Sometimes it looks like choosing peace over chaos. Sometimes it looks like being alone for a while so God can rebuild you correctly. But every moment of it is sacred. There are people who were meant only for the old chapter. There are environments that cannot handle your elevation. There are habits that cannot survive in the atmosphere God is taking you into. You are not losing. You are being lifted. And sometimes being lifted requires being separated before you are celebrated. Heaven is preparing a path for you that requires clarity, strength, and obedience. That is why you feel your spirit becoming more sensitive. That is why certain conversations suddenly feel draining. That is why your tolerance for chaos has disappeared. You are shifting because heaven has shifted your future. Right now, God is saying, you are closer than you think, but you must protect your alignment. This alignment is fragile, not because you are weak, but because what is being built inside you is new. Heaven does not want you to sabotage this moment with hurried choices or emotional reactions. You are being guided, step by gentle step, toward a revelation that will explain every closed door, every unexpected separation, every moment of stillness. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Nothing was accidental. All of it was heaven orchestrating your upgrade. Archangel Michael is preparing to release a message so powerful, so clarifying, so exact, that it will make you see why the past could not come with you. And when that message enters your spirit, everything will align with the sharpness you have been longing for. But before that clarity comes, heaven is asking you to stay awake. Stay present. Stay anchored. Do not drift back into old patterns out of boredom or emotional impulse. Your future is too close. Your calling is too real. Your breakthrough is too near. And now, beloved, lean in a little more. Because as the spiritual tension increases, it is a sign that the revelation is drawing closer. Before you move or decide anything, breathe and hold still, because heaven is preparing to show you something that will change the very direction of your life. Trust this moment. Trust the shift. Trust the protection. You are being guided with precision, not confusion. Before you move your attention away, hold on, because what comes next carries a truth your soul has been waiting years to hear. If this message is stirring something inside you, like, share, comment, hype this message, and subscribe so others can receive what heaven is releasing over you. Type "I guard my destiny" in the comments. Blessing code 555 is now active. Now, as this revelation pours into your spirit, let your heart stay open for this divine call. Heaven is not asking for support. Heaven is commanding alignment with the mission of spreading God's warning and God's promise. When you sow into a word like this, you are not helping a channel. You are helping a soul escape the very traps God just pulled you from. This is a moment of obedience, a moment where your seed becomes a lighthouse for someone else's breakthrough. God says, as you pour out, I pour back an overflowing measure, just as He spoke in Malachi, not as a distant scripture, but as a living breath over you. And I say to you personally, if this message is awakening your spirit, then your action carries heavenly weight. Just as your future has shifted, your giving activates the oil over this mission, ensuring these warnings reach the ones who are still trapped. Let your support through Super Thanks, membership, or even the PayPal link in the description be your prophetic act of agreement. And I declare over everyone who moves with heaven today, your seed will speak for you in rooms your voice has never entered. Step into this moment. Activate what God is stirring. My awakened spirit bearer, there is a mysterious heaviness resting in the air around you, not to burden you, but to signal that heaven is shifting the atmosphere in your favor once again. Archangel Michael stands behind you with a shield of blazing radiance, guarding your back as God rearranges the next steps of your destiny. What you are sensing right now, the tension, the anticipation, the stillness, the emotional sensitivity, these are all indicators that the spiritual realm is actively working on your path. When God shifts your future, there is always an invisible stirring before the visible manifestation. And you, beloved, are standing right in the center of this divine rearrangement. You may have noticed that in recent days, your discernment has become sharper. Your heart reacts faster. Your spirit picks up on danger earlier. You no longer tolerate what you once ignored. You no longer feel comfortable in old rooms. You no longer feel entertained by distractions that once kept you numb. This is not a personality change. It is a spiritual elevation. Heaven is adjusting your inner frequency so you cannot return to the people or places that once tempted you away from your calling. When your future shifts, your spirit shifts first. And Archangel Michael wants you to understand that this spiritual sensitivity is not weakness, it is armor. There were moments in your past when you overlooked red flags because you were tired, hopeful, or afraid to walk alone. But now, heaven is refusing to let anything slip by unnoticed. God is teaching you to see danger before it happens. He is strengthening your intuition so you can recognize spiritual traps in seconds, not in seasons. He is removing the fog from your vision because the next chapter of your life requires clarity, not confusion. There is a new level of protection over you right now, and it is not subtle. It is fierce. It is intentional. It is strategic. Archangel Michael is revealing a truth you must hold tightly. The enemy has been studying the patterns that once weakened you. He knows what voices once manipulated you. He knows what emotions once distracted you. He knows what fears once held you hostage. But what he does not expect is the version of you that God is forming in this very moment, more aware, more grounded, more spiritually awake than ever before. And because of this, the enemy's old tactics will no longer have the same effect. What used to draw you back will now repel you. What used to comfort you will now feel spiritually contaminated. What used to seduce you will now expose itself as dangerous. This is what divine maturity feels like. Something in the spiritual realm has unlocked. You are being prepared for a revelation that will require you to walk with confidence and spiritual sharpness. This revelation is not meant to scare you. It is meant to empower you. God is about to show you why he shifted your future so abruptly. You may have felt the shift without understanding the reason behind it. You may have sensed the change but not seen the full picture. But heaven is preparing to reveal what was hidden. Not to shame anyone. Not to create fear, but to give you the understanding needed to move forward with authority. There is a divine unveiling approaching. Something about your past, present, or environment is going to come to light. And when it does, you will immediately understand why God refused to let you go backward. What you thought was harmless was not harmless. What you thought was stable was not stable. What you thought was supportive had hidden cracks beneath the surface. You were protected from dangers you never even saw. And Archangel Michael wants you to know that this next revelation will not break you. It will free you. You are entering a season of spiritual truth. God is not just shifting your path, He is exposing the very things that once tried to derail it. The moment you see what heaven is preparing to reveal, you will thank God for every closed door, every separation, every sudden change, every unanswered prayer. What felt like abandonment was actually divine rescue. What felt like loss was divine preservation. What felt like confusion was God leading you away from poison disguised as peace. Right now, Archangel Michael is extending a warning wrapped in compassion. Do not rush ahead. Do not act impulsively. Heaven is unveiling something important, and you must see it clearly. There is more happening behind the scenes than you realize. People are being separated from you for reasons you have not yet been shown. Opportunities are being redirected because they were never meant to anchor your destiny. Even your desires are changing as God refines your inner world. This is not the time to question the shift. This is the time to trust it. Every delay is protection. Every redirection is instruction. Every quiet moment is preparation. Your spirit is being fortified so you can stand in the fullness of truth without fear. You are being shaped into someone the enemy cannot manipulate, someone darkness cannot distract, someone confusion cannot mislead. And now, beloved, breathe deeply. The next revelation will not be gentle. It will be clear, firm, illuminating. It will explain everything. And when it arrives, your spirit will rise to a level you have been longing for. Stay close, because the next message carries the key to your spiritual alignment. Type "I walk in truth" in the comments if this message is resonating with your spirit. Blessing Code 202 is now released. My chosen vessel, there is a deep stillness forming around your spirit right now, a kind of heavenly silence that is not empty, but richly alive with meaning. Archangel Michael stands guard beside you, not in tension, but in solemn readiness, for what is unfolding in your life is entering a critical spiritual stage. You have crossed into a zone where every movement of heaven is coordinated, intentional, and profoundly precise. Nothing around you is accidental. Nothing you feel is random. The recent heaviness, the sudden moments of reflection, the quiet thoughts that rise in the middle of the night, these are signals that the spiritual realm is pressing closer to reveal what has been hidden from you until now. God is preparing your heart to understand the full weight of the shift that has already taken place in your future. Something sacred is being written into your story, something you could not have imagined even a short while ago. The old version of your life was too small, too restricted, too tangled in expectations and familiar patterns. But when God shifts a future, He does not simply move you forward. He transforms the landscape entirely. He clears the path, breaks the chains, redirects the atmosphere, and removes anything that threatens the seed of purpose He planted inside you. The shift you felt was not a gentle nudge. It was a forceful rerouting, a divine extraction designed to protect your destiny from being diluted by environments that no longer align with who you are becoming. Archangel Michael is showing me a vision of you standing before a mirror, yet the reflection does not fully match the version of you that exists in your mind. You are seeing glimpses of the person God is forming inside you, stronger, clearer, more spiritually grounded, more emotionally intelligent, more resilient than the person you once were. But because this transformation is still in progress, your spirit feels stretched. You may feel caught between who you were and who you are becoming. You may feel unsettled at times, as if something inside you is both releasing and reaching at the same time. That tension is not a sign of confusion. It is a sign of rebirth. Heaven is rebuilding your spiritual identity from the inside out. You have entered a stage where God is no longer asking you to walk away from certain things. He is removing them himself. You may not fully understand why certain connections are fading, why certain opportunities no longer excite you, why certain paths suddenly feel blocked. But heaven wants you to know that your soul is being protected from energies that would contaminate your next season. What once felt normal now feels draining, because your spirit has outgrown it. What once felt comforting now feels heavy because God has lifted you above it. What once felt necessary now feels unnecessary because heaven has replaced it with something better, even if you cannot see it yet. There's a purification taking place around you. God is cleansing the spiritual atmosphere of anything that could interfere with the revelation coming your way. Archangel Michael is sweeping away distractions, closing doors that lead to confusion, and silencing voices that would delay your transformation. You may have noticed that your desire for peace has increased. Your tolerance for chaos has decreased. Your longing for depth has intensified. Surface-level conversations no longer satisfy you. Empty relationships no longer hold your attention. You are shifting into alignment with heaven's rhythm, and as you do, everything that cannot harmonize with your calling is being stripped away. This is not loss. It is preparation. Heaven is not punishing you. It is positioning you. What you're experiencing right now is the spiritual equivalent of being moved out of an old home and into a larger one. But before you can settle in, the foundation must be inspected, the space must be cleared, and the walls must be strengthened. God refuses to put the new you into the old environment, and he refuses to let the old environment follow you into the new. Archangel Michael is preparing to reveal something important. Your spirit is entering a moment where hidden truths will rise to the surface. Something in your life, past or present, has been operating in shadows, and heaven is about to expose it. Not to scare you, not to harm you, but to free you. The shift in your future was triggered by something heaven saw long before you did. There is a reason you were pulled away from certain people or paths. There is a reason you felt pressure to move differently. There is a reason you felt the urge to detach from situations that once felt familiar. God is saying, I moved you before you knew why. I shifted your path before danger could reach you. I protected you before you understood the threat. And when the revelation comes, and it will, you will not feel fear. You will feel gratitude. You will feel clarity. You will feel the weight of divine protection surrounding your life in ways you never recognized before. The enemy sensed this shift before you did, and he tried to pull you back with distractions, emotional triggers, and old attachments. But heaven's hand was stronger. God's timing was sharper. Archangel Michael's protection was deeper. You were rerouted before the trap was fully set. Now you stand in a place of divine readiness. The next message is approaching with the weight of truth, and when it arrives, everything inside you will align with a clarity that cannot be shaken. Before you shift your attention, stay with this moment, because what comes next will illuminate the very reason your future could not remain where it once was. Type I stand with heaven's shift in the comments if this message is touching your spirit. Blessing code 909 is now activated. My vigilant heart, there is a strange stirring unfolding around you, the kind of shift that does not announce itself with noise, but with a quiet heaviness that settles deep inside your spirit. Archangel Michael is standing near you, not simply as a protector, but as a witness to what heaven is orchestrating in this exact moment. You are not imagining the intensity you feel. You are not overthinking the sudden changes in people's behavior. You are not misreading the shift in your atmosphere. Something in the unseen realm has begun to rearrange itself once again, and this rearrangement is carrying you into a deeper dimension of clarity, a clarity you have needed for a long time. There are seasons when God moves gently, and there are seasons when God moves decisively. You have entered a decisive season. Heaven has no interest in leaving you in confusion or uncertainty. Heaven is refusing to let you walk blindfolded into the next part of your journey. That is why your dreams have become sharper, your intuition more active, your discernment louder, and your emotions more sensitive. These are not random experiences. These are spiritual indicators that the veil between what you know and what you are about to understand is thinning. Archangel Michael is revealing something profound. Your spirit has been picking up signals that your mind has not yet decoded. There have been moments when you felt a sudden shift in energy around certain people, not because they changed in that moment, but because heaven allowed you to sense what was hidden. You may have noticed the discomfort rising unexpectedly within you in conversations that once felt harmless. You may have felt an inner nudge to distance yourself from situations that once felt familiar. You may have felt an unexplainable urge to pull your heart away from places where your loyalty once lived. These sensations are not emotional reactions. They are warnings delivered in silence. Heaven has been trying to protect you from walking back into cycles that were designed to drain you. And sometimes protection does not come through loud signs, but through subtle spiritual discomfort. Your spirit has evolved beyond the environments you once survived in. You are no longer the version of yourself who tolerated disrespect, manipulation, or emotional uncertainty. You are now someone heaven is shaping for purpose, for clarity, and for truth. And when God shapes you for truth, anything built on secrecy begins to collapse around you. There is an unveiling approaching. The shift in your future did not happen without reason. God does not pull you out of places unless something within those places can no longer serve your destiny. You may not fully understand why certain relationships grew distant, why certain opportunities fell apart, or why certain people became uncomfortable around you. But heaven saw what you could not see. Heaven saw conversations behind your back. Heaven saw intentions hidden beneath smiles. Heaven saw energies that were not aligned with your calling. Heaven saw spiritual dangers that your heart was too trusting to perceive. Archangel Michael is preparing you for the truth. Some people around you were never meant to journey with you into the life God is building for you. They were part of your past training, not your future assignment. Their presence made sense in earlier chapters, but they cannot survive the spiritual elevation that is taking place within you now. If God allowed them to stay, they would hinder what He is trying to establish. They would distract you, drain you, or derail you. That is why heaven stepped in and shifted your direction, even before your mind understood the need for it. You may feel the removal, but heaven feels the rescue. You may feel the separation, but heaven sees the salvation. You may feel the silence, but heaven hears the strategies forming against your destiny and blocks them before they can manifest. What is coming next is a moment of revelation that will not simply show you the truth. It will show you why the truth had to stay hidden until you reached this level of spiritual maturity. If you had seen this too early, you would have reacted emotionally. If you had learned this too soon, you might have run back out of comfort or guilt. But now, your spirit is stronger. Your mind is clearer. Your heart is more stable. You are ready to understand what you once could not handle. This understanding will not break you. It will liberate you. The enemy has been trying to distract you because he knows that once you see the truth, you will rise into a version of yourself he cannot manipulate. But Archangel Michael is guarding your clarity, ensuring that nothing interferes with this next stage of revelation. Your future is too important. Your purpose is too large. Your calling is too marked by heaven for you to remain blind to what has been hidden. You are being positioned for a moment that will transform the way you see everything. Your past, your relationships, your journey, even yourself. When the truth is revealed, you will no longer question the shift. You will no longer resist the separation. You will no longer feel confused about why God redirected your path with such intensity. You will finally understand. And that understanding will give you a strength you have never felt before. It will break emotional attachments that were formed in pain. It will dissolve illusions that held power over your heart. It will empower you to walk into your new season without looking back. Stay close to this message because you are standing at the door of revelation. And once the door opens, there will be no returning to the life that once tried to pull you backward. Before you drift away, stay with me, because what unfolds next holds a depth your soul has been waiting to uncover. Type "I embrace the revealing" in the comments if this is stirring your spirit. Blessing code 818 is now activated. My steadfast soul, there is a tremor moving through the spiritual atmosphere around you. Not a tremor of danger, but a tremor of revelation preparing to break through. Archangel Michael stands with a firm and unwavering presence beside you, his wings forming a barrier between you and every unseen force that has attempted to pull you backward. What you are stepping into now is not a new chapter. It is a new dimension, a higher realm of understanding, a deeper level of spiritual awareness. And heaven needs you fully awake for what is about to unfold. For days, maybe even weeks, you have felt a strange tension, a heaviness that lingers without explanation, a sense that something is shifting just beyond the horizon of your understanding. This is not anxiety. This is preparation. Heaven is opening your spiritual eyes so that when the truth arrives, you will not reject it, fear it, or run from it. You will be ready. You will be strong. You will be grounded enough to receive it without being shaken. Archangel Michael wants you to notice how your spirit has been responding lately. You have felt sudden waves of discernment that seem to strike out of nowhere. You have felt intuitive warnings rise inside you without an identifiable source. You have felt yourself pulling back from certain conversations, certain environments, certain individuals, not because of anything obvious, but because your spirit has been sensing a misalignment you could not yet name. Heaven has been tuning your spiritual senses, heightening your awareness, sharpening your perception, so that when the unveiling begins, you will not be caught off guard. Something is coming to the surface, something that has been hidden, obscured, or misrepresented. And God is saying, I will not allow you to walk into your future carrying confusion. The shift you experienced before was heaven moving you out of danger. But the revelation you are about to receive is heaven showing you why that shift was necessary. God does not expose truth to shame you. He exposes truth to free you. He reveals so you can release. He uncovers so you can understand. He illuminates so you can heal and move forward without the weight of old shadows. Archangel Michael is showing me a powerful image of you standing in a room filled with fog. The fog represents confusion, denial, emotional attachment, and the illusions that once clouded your judgment. But I see light breaking through the fog in beams, sharp, precise, golden. These beams of light are revelations, truths, insights that will cut through every misunderstanding you have carried. Heaven is clearing the fog, not all at once, but layer by layer, because your heart needs to process what is coming in a way that empowers you rather than overwhelms you. You may have wondered why God removed you from certain situations so abruptly. You may have questioned why certain relationships shifted without warning. You may have felt confused by the sudden silence of people who once appeared invested in your journey. But heaven saw motives that were invisible to you. Heaven saw alliances you did not know existed. Heaven saw compromise hidden beneath smiles. Heaven saw spiritual contamination disguised as comfort. And Archangel Michael intervened, because your destiny demanded protection. You were too valuable to leave unguarded. You were too chosen to leave unshielded. You were too aligned with heaven's will to remain in places that did not match your calling. This next revelation is going to make you see your past with new eyes. Not bitter eyes. Not fearful eyes. Enlightened eyes. You will see how God blocks certain conversations from reaching you. You will see how God prevented you from trusting the wrong hearts. You will see how God removed you from paths that looked promising but were spiritually dangerous. Every near miss, every closed door, every sudden shift was heaven saving you from something that would have drained your spirit. Archangel Michael wants you to hold on to this truth. What you are about to understand will free you from emotional ties that have quietly held power over you. Once the truth settles in your spirit, you will no longer be tempted to return to what God pulled you from. You will no longer question why certain people drifted away. You will no longer wrestle with the desire to revisit old environments. Your heart will finally be released from invisible chains that kept you connected to what could never support your future. This is a moment of inner liberation, a sacred unbinding, a spiritual release. And yet, heaven is asking you to stay calm. Do not rush ahead. Do not attempt to guess the revelation before it arrives. Do not let your thoughts create narratives that heaven has not confirmed. Everything you need to understand will come to you with clarity, precision, and divine timing. No detail will be missing. No truth will be distorted. No moment will be wasted. God is preparing to show you something that will strengthen your spirit for the rest of your journey. This is why you have felt disrupted. This is why your emotions have been unpredictable. This is why your dreams have been louder. This is why your inner world has been shifting. You are being prepared for a level of truth that will dismantle every lie you once believed about your past and about yourself. Stand firm. Breathe deeply. Stay spiritually awake. Because what is coming next will feel like stepping into a room where every light suddenly turns on at once. And once you see the truth, you will never go back. You will never accept less than what heaven has chosen for you. You will walk forward with clarity, courage, and a strength that cannot be shaken. Hold steady, beloved. The revelation is drawing close, and your spirit is ready to receive it. Type "I am ready for truth" in the comments if this is awakening something inside you. Blessing code 414 is now activated. My rising spirit, there is an unmistakable pressure forming in the spiritual atmosphere around you, and Archangel Michael stands ready with a posture that signals something significant is about to break open. This pressure is not here to harm you. It is here to prepare you. You are entering a moment where heaven is not simply shifting your future, but unveiling the deeper meaning behind every shift you've recently endured. This unveiling will not come quietly. It will not come gently. It will arrive with the force of a revelation that touches the deepest layers of your identity. And heaven needs you fully alert for what is about to manifest. For some time, you have sensed that something beneath the surface has been changing. Your emotions have felt unusual. Your intuition has been active at strange hours. Your sensitivity to certain people and environments has increased. You have felt an invisible weight, not a burden, but a spiritual pull, drawing your awareness higher, deeper, inward. That pull is heaven positioning your soul for clarity. God does not reveal deep truths when your spirit is distracted. He reveals them when your inner world has reached a state of readiness. You are ready now. Archangel Michael is showing me a powerful vision. You are standing on the edge of a cliff overlooking a wide, expansive horizon. The sky is heavy with clouds, but rays of light are breaking through in sharp beams. Those beams represent revelation, truth piercing through confusion, clarity breaking through uncertainty, divine insight cutting through emotional noise. You have been living in a twilight season, a place between what you know and what you are about to understand. But heaven is about to bring you into full daybreak. This next phase of your journey requires maturity. It requires strength. And most of all, it requires stillness. Heaven needs you to stop interpreting every shift through fear or insecurity. You must begin to see with spiritual eyes. The reason you were pulled out of certain environments so abruptly will soon make perfect sense. There were conversations happening behind your back that you did not hear, but heaven did. There were intentions pointed toward you that were never spoken aloud, but heaven saw them. There were spiritual traps forming around your progress, but Archangel Michael intercepted them before they touched your life. Think about how certain connections began to feel off without explanation. Think about how your heart grew uneasy around people who once felt familiar. Think about the sudden inner nudges to pull away, the quick spikes of discernment, the unexplainable instincts that urged you to choose silence, distance, or caution. These were not random feelings. They were divine alarms. Heaven was tightening your protection, not forcing isolation, but enforcing separation from misaligned energies. And now heaven is saying, the reason shall be revealed. There is information coming your way. Spiritual information, emotional information, relational information that will illuminate everything. You will understand why God did not allow certain people to walk into your next season with you. You will understand why certain opportunities collapse without warning. You will see why the shift in your future had to happen with urgency and not with comfort. What heaven protected you from would have hindered you, manipulated you, or limited the greatness inside you. Archangel Michael stands at your side as this unveiling approaches, because revelation often disrupts the illusions we once held. But do not fear. The truth is not coming to hurt you. It is coming to liberate you. God wants you to step into your purpose without invisible attachments. He wants your heart to be free from emotional debris. He wants your spirit to move in clarity, not confusion. The truth you are about to receive will not break your soul. It will strengthen it. There are moments when God shields you while He fights battles you never knew existed. And when those battles are won, He reveals what He rescued you from, not to frighten you, but to deepen your gratitude and sharpen your discernment. You are entering such a moment. You are going to see everything. Your past, your choices, your relationships, your journey with new eyes. And with these new eyes, you will rise into a level of self-respect, spiritual authority, and personal strength that will make returning to your old patterns impossible. Archangel Michael wants you to remain anchored. Stay grounded in truth. Do not allow fear to tamper with your clarity. What is being revealed will only elevate you, even if it stings at first. Sometimes truth burns before it heals, but it always liberates. And when liberation comes, your spirit will breathe in a way it has never breathed before. Stay with this message. Do not drift. Because what comes next will be the moment everything finally clicks together. If this message is resonating with your spirit, like this video, comment to keep the atmosphere of faith open. Share this with someone who needs spiritual clarity. Hype this message to strengthen the community. And subscribe so these revelations continue to reach you without delay. Type "I receive this" revealing in the comments. Blessing code 1212 is now activated. Now listen closely, because heaven is extending a divine opportunity for you to stand in alignment with the mission that is setting countless souls free. This message flows directly from the theme of your shifting future, because when God redirects a destiny, He also raises those who help others escape the traps they once faced. As you support this mission, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into a rescue operation heaven is orchestrating. God says, your seed becomes light for someone walking in the darkness I pulled you from. And today, that word is living and active over your life. And I speak personally to your spirit. If this message has opened your eyes, then your action carries prophetic weight right now. Whether through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, your support becomes spiritual fire pushing this mission forward. And I declare a blessing. Every giver will see doors open in places where silence once lived. Heaven is calling you to act. Step into this moment with purpose. My relentless spirit, there is a deep vibration echoing through the unseen realm around you, and Archangel Michael is closer than before. His presence firm, steady, and full of purpose. You may not feel his wings. You may not hear his voice, but your spirit senses the shift. Something is aligning, preparing, unfolding with divine timing. The revelation that has been approaching is now pressing at the edge of your awareness. Heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven has not overlooked your questions. Heaven has not ignored the confusion that once clouded your heart. You are stepping into a moment where every hidden thread begins to weave into a clear and undeniable pattern. For weeks now, your inner world has been speaking louder than your outer world. Your intuition has whispered warnings. Your sense of peace has been selective. Your emotions have fluctuated without any obvious cause. You have felt strange waves of clarity and equally strange waves of heaviness. You have felt pulled inward, away from noise, away from chaos, away from the familiar distractions that once numbed your spirit. None of this has been random. You have been preparing for a specific revelation, a truth that will unlock your next spiritual level. Archangel Michael is revealing that your future did not simply shift in direction. It shifted in dimension. You have been elevated to a higher spiritual plane, whether you realized it or not. And because of this elevation, the old version of your life has been dissolving, piece by piece. People you once trusted no longer hold the same place in your heart. Environments you once tolerated feel spiritually suffocating. Plans you once created no longer carry the same excitement. This is not disorientation. This is divine recalibration. When God shifts your future, he begins by shifting your inner world. Your desires change. Your standards rise. Your discernment heightens. Your boundaries strengthen. You begin to sense the true nature of situations, even without physical evidence. You begin to see patterns in people that were previously invisible to you. You begin to feel the spiritual atmosphere behind someone's tone, someone's energy, someone's intentions, even when their words appear harmless. You are not imagining it. You are not being dramatic. You are not overreacting. You are awakening. Heaven has opened your spiritual eyes wider than before, and because of this awakening, you have started to perceive things that were once hidden in plain sight. The truth has been knocking at your spirit long before your mind could understand it. And now the time has come for that truth to surface. Archangel Michael is showing me an image of you walking through a hallway with multiple closed doors. Some of these doors represent past relationships, others represent opportunities, and others symbolize emotional attachments you didn't fully understand. As you walk, one door behind you closes with a loud, echoing sound. When you turn to look, you see that the door did not just shut, it locked. Heaven locked it. Not out of punishment, but out of protection. God is saying, I closed this because you would have returned to it out of comfort, not out of calling. This lock is permanent because the situation behind the door carried something that would have hindered your elevation. There were intentions you did not see. There were hidden motives that your heart was shielded from. There were spiritual assignments connected to certain people that were not aligned with your destiny. And had you remained in that environment, the calling on your life would have been delayed or distorted. Your future required separation. Your destiny required closure. Your spirit required elevation. And heaven moved you, not gently, but decisively, because the window of destiny over your life could not remain open indefinitely. You were entering a place where indecision could have cost you alignment. So God stepped in. Archangel Michael intervened. Heaven rerouted you before the danger reached you. Now you stand on ground that feels unfamiliar, yet strangely safe. You stand in a season where certain answers have not yet appeared, but your spirit senses something bigger is coming. You stand in a space where heaven has gone silent at times, not because you were abandoned, but because revelation requires silence before it speaks. Archangel Michael is telling you, do not fear what is about to be revealed. You have been strengthened for this truth. You may feel emotionally tender in this season, but you are spiritually stronger than ever. You may feel uncertain about the details of your future, but your spirit is anchored more deeply than at any other point in your life. You may feel disconnected from your past, but that disconnection is proof that you are rising, shifting, evolving. What is coming is not a painful truth. It is a clarifying truth. You are going to finally understand why certain people pulled away when they did. You are going to understand why your spirit felt uneasy in certain conversations, even when nothing seemed wrong externally. You are going to learn why a particular door was shut, even though your heart was willing to walk through it. You are going to see how heaven prevented you from entering a cycle that would have drained your energy, manipulated your emotions, or weakened your purpose. Truth will not break you. Truth will free you. Truth will elevate you. And once this truth settles into your awareness, you will feel a peace that is deeper than anything you have ever known. You will feel a release in your spirit that confirms heaven was protecting you long before you understood the reason. You will feel gratitude for every shift, every delay, every divine interruption. But stay, beloved. Stay close to this message. What comes next will unlock what your spirit has been sensing all along. Type "I welcome divine clarity" in the comments if this is reaching your soul. Blessing code 717 is now activated. My enduring one, there is a sacred intensity building around your life right now. The kind of intensity that only appears when heaven is preparing to uncover what has been hidden for far too long. Archangel Michael's presence is stronger in this moment than in any previous part of your journey. His stance is firm, his protection surrounding you like a shield, because what you are approaching is not merely information, it is revelation. And revelation is powerful. Revelation transforms. Revelation exposes what the enemy hoped you would never see. Revelation brings freedom to places you did not even realize were in bondage. For a long time, there has been a quiet war in your atmosphere, a war you could feel without fully understanding. You felt a tension. You felt the sudden waves of heaviness. You felt the strange emotional pulls. You felt the spiritual pressure. You felt the unusual fatigue at unexpected times. You felt the distance growing between you and certain people. You noticed atmospheres shift when you entered the room. You felt conversations shift when you spoke truth. These were not coincidences. They were spiritual indicators that something in the unseen realm was being confronted. You may not have known what the battle was about, but heaven did. God knew the exact moment when your destiny crossed a threshold that would no longer allow you to stay blind. And so he began removing layers from your life, layers of illusion, layers of denial, layers of emotional debris, layers of misplaced loyalty, and layers of spiritual dullness. This peeling away has felt strange at times. It has felt painful at times. It has felt disorienting at times. But every layer that fell away brought you closer to truth. Archangel Michael is revealing that part of your spirit has been waiting for this truth your entire life. There were moments when you felt disconnected from certain people, but didn't understand why. There were moments when you sensed hidden motives, but doubted your intuition. There were moments when your heart felt uneasy even though nothing was visibly wrong. There were moments when you felt spiritually exhausted after interacting with someone, without realizing your spirit was picking up on something your mind had not yet processed. Heaven was whispering to you. Heaven was warning you. Heaven was preparing you. Now the time of preparation is shifting into the time of unveiling. This unveiling will not arrive like a storm. It will arrive like a sharp beam of light cutting through fog. It will arrive the moment your spirit is still enough to receive it. It will arrive when heaven knows you are emotionally mature enough to process the truth without falling into confusion or fear. You are standing in that readiness now. Archangel Michael is showing me a vision of a path you once walked, smooth on the surface, but cracked underneath. These cracks represent hidden truths, hidden tensions, hidden intentions, hidden vulnerabilities you could not see at the time. Heaven shielded you from these cracks because you were not ready to face them. But as you elevated, the weight of your new calling exposed the weakness of the old foundation. And God could not allow you to build your destiny on something that would eventually collapse beneath you. This is why the shift in your future felt so sudden. This is why the separation felt so abrupt. This is why the redirection felt so forceful. Heaven sees everything you cannot see. Heaven sees conversations you were never present for. Heaven sees intentions behind smiles. Heaven sees spiritual assignments behind relationships. Heaven sees the energy behind someone's words, the truth behind someone's silence, the motive behind someone's behavior. And God stepped in because He refused to let your future be sabotaged by what your heart could not yet see. This upcoming revelation is not meant to break your heart. It is meant to break your attachment to what was quietly draining your spirit. You may have placed loyalty in places that were incapable of carrying your destiny. You may have placed trust in hearts that did not hold the same purity as yours. You may have placed energy into connections that were spiritually misaligned. Heaven is not revealing truth to shame you. Heaven is revealing truth to free you. When the truth appears, you will notice something powerful. Your heart will not shatter. Instead, your spirit will exhale. Relief will wash over you. Understanding will settle into your bones. The confusion you once carried will disappear. The questions that haunted you will fall silent. The weight on your chest will lift. Something inside you will say, "I knew it." Not in anger. Not in bitterness. But in recognition. Your spirit saw what your mind could not comprehend. Archangel Michael is preparing you for a new emotional landscape. After revelation comes release. After release comes healing. After healing comes direction. And after direction comes elevation. You are moving through these stages spiritually, even if your physical life has not yet caught up. By the time the full truth is revealed, you will be strong enough to move forward without hesitation, without guilt, without the temptation to look back. God is saying, "You will not return to what I pulled you from." I am about to show you why. This is the moment your spirit has been sensing. This is the moment that has been building beneath every shift, every silence, every separation, every redirection. You are standing in the doorway of divine clarity. And once you cross through it, the past loses its power forever. Stay present, beloved. The truth is approaching. And when it arrives, revelation will transform everything. Type "I stand in truth" and light in the comments if this message is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 2323 is now activated. My devoted soul, there is a quiet thunder moving through your spiritual atmosphere right now. A vibration that does not roar outwardly, but reverberates deeply within your inner world. Archangel Michael stands in a powerful stillness beside you, holding his sword downward in a position that symbolizes not attack, but revelation. When his blade points toward the ground, it signifies the truth is about to anchor into the earth, into your life, into your understanding. You are standing at the very edge of the moment heaven has been guiding you toward. The moment when the unseen becomes seen, and the shift you felt becomes clear in a way you cannot ignore. Everything around you is aligning for this. For quite some time now, your spirit has been operating ahead of your mind. You felt the separation before the relationship deteriorated. You felt the distance before the connection faded. You sensed betrayal before evidence appeared. You felt the spiritual resistance before circumstances began to shift. Heaven always speaks to the spirit first and the mind later, and you have been living in that spiritual sensitivity without understanding its purpose fully. But that purpose is about to unfold. Archangel Michael wants you to recall the subtle discomfort you have felt in the presence of certain people. That discomfort was not confusion. It was discernment. You may have brushed it aside because you did not want to misjudge anyone, or perhaps because you valued peace more than confrontation. But heaven was nudging you, whispering to your intuition, pulling your attention towards signs you did not yet know how to interpret. Every uneasy moment, every silent pause, every strange shift in your emotions, every sudden moment where your mind felt clouded or your heart felt heavy. These signals were divine alerts, preparing you for what is now rising to the surface. You may think the truth will come in a dramatic explosion, but most divine revelations arrive gently, like a memory that suddenly makes sense, a comment that echoes differently the second time, a dream that clarifies what the daytime hid, a piece of information slipped unintentionally by someone who was never meant to expose it. Heaven will deliver the truth in a way that is unmistakable, undeniable, and purposeful. And when it arrives, it will reconnect every disconnected moment of your past, forming a line of understanding that stretches from what once confused you to what is now being revealed. There are things you overlooked because your heart was pure. There are things you excused because you believed in someone's potential more than in their patterns. There were moments when you thought you were being too sensitive, too emotional, too intuitive, but heaven was showing you pieces of a picture you were not yet ready to see in full form. Do not blame yourself for missing the signs. Heaven reveals truth in stages, not to confuse you, but to protect you. And you are now entering the final stage of revelation. Archangel Michael is showing me an image of a chain breaking, not with force, but with ease. This chain represents emotional attachments, misplaced loyalty, and spiritual bonds that were formed during seasons when you were vulnerable, hopeful, or unaware. God shifted your future because these chains could not travel with you into your next dimension. The revelation coming your way will break the chain completely, not partially. You will not be tempted to reconnect. You will not wonder what could have been. You will not question whether you made the right choice. Truth ends confusion. Truth ends cycles. Truth ends emotional wandering. Heaven is preparing to show you why the past could not stay attached to your destiny. The truth will clarify that you were not losing something valuable. Heaven was removing something dangerous. Something that appeared harmless from the outside, but carried spiritual consequences beneath the surface. God shielded you from this long enough for your heart to strengthen. But now the time has come for you to see exactly what you were saved from, not to instill fear, but to deepen your gratitude and sharpen your discernment. This revelation will transform you, not in a painful way, but in a powerful way. You will feel yourself rising internally. Your confidence, your clarity, your self-respect, your understanding of who you are. You will feel an internal shift that says, "Now I know why God moved me." And that knowing will make you unstoppable. Archangel Michael is standing in position now, waiting for the moment heaven releases the truth. He has walked with you through confusion, guarded you in silence, shielded you in vulnerability, and strengthened you through uncertainty. You have not been walking blind. You have been walking covered. You have not been stumbling. You have been transitioning. You have not been abandoned. You have been prepared. Something about the next truth you receive will complete the shift in your future. It will close the last door from your past. It will release the final emotional residue. It will sharpen your awareness like never before. It will make returning to your old self, your old patterns, your old relationships, your old wounds impossible. You will move forward with spiritual maturity you once prayed for. You will walk with a new posture, steady, grounded, awakened. And this revelation will not arrive as a whisper. It will arrive with clarity so sharp it will silence every internal question you once battled. It will reframe your story. It will empower your choices. It will free your heart. It will anchor your spirit. Stay right here in this moment. Do not rush ahead. The next unveiling is closer than you realize, and your spirit is ready to receive what your life needs for the next stage of your destiny. Type "I am prepared for revelation" in the comments if this is stirring your inner world. Blessing code 626 is now released. My ascended soul, there is a holy stillness surrounding you right now. A stillness so deep that even the unseen realm has paused to witness what heaven is about to finalize in your life. Archangel Michael stands before you, not behind, not beside, but directly before you. Because this is the moment of full revelation, the moment where everything that has been shifting, shaking, and stirring finally completes its divine alignment. You are not standing at the beginning of something. You are standing at the unveiling of something heaven has been preparing for months, perhaps even years. This final revelation is the culmination of every inner nudge, every moment of discomfort, every quiet warning your spirit received. And now, the full picture is being handed to you. Not in fragments, not in shadows, but in clarity. You have felt the tension building. You have felt the emotional pressure rise and fall like tides. You have felt the spiritual gravity pulling you higher. You have felt a sense of detachment from people and environments without knowing why. You have woken up in the middle of the night sensing something shifting in your atmosphere. You have felt the presence of Archangel Michael near you in ways you cannot logically explain. And all of these signs were heaven preparing you for this very moment, the moment when the truth stands in front of you fully formed. There is a sacred courage rising inside you now. It has been forming quietly, hidden beneath layers of uncertainty and transition. But heaven has not been silent toward your spirit. Heaven has been whispering strength, whispering direction, whispering discernment, whispering identity. And though your mind didn't always understand, your spirit absorbed every word. That is why you feel stronger now. That is why you feel clearer. That is why something in you refuses to accept anything that does not align with purpose. You have been transformed without even realizing the extent of your transformation. Archangel Michael reveals that the truth you are stepping into is not meant to shock you. It is meant to confirm what your spirit already knew. Heaven never leaves its chosen ones without signals. You had moments when you looked at certain situations and felt something was off even when everything appeared normal. You felt tension in conversations where everyone else seemed relaxed. You sensed a shift in someone's heart long before their actions revealed it. You recognized energy changes that others dismissed. Your discernment saw what your emotions were not ready to accept. This revelation will confirm that your spirit was never wrong. You may not have known the details, but you recognized the atmosphere. You may not have had evidence, but you sensed the spiritual truth. You may not have had confirmation, but you experienced internal alerts from heaven. And now, the veil is being lifted so you can see clearly what heaven already protected you from. God is revealing that the shift in your future did not happen because you lost something. It happened because heaven refused to let you be pulled backward into cycles that no longer matched who you are becoming. The people, opportunities, and environments that fell away did not fall away by accident. They were removed because they carried hidden weights, hidden motives, hidden inconsistencies, or hidden spiritual interference. Your destiny required a clean atmosphere. Your calling required separation. Your heart required protection. And God acted before you knew danger existed. Now, beloved, feel the gentle weight of truth beginning to land. Truth does not crush you. Truth sets you free. Truth does not confuse you. Truth clarifies your path. Truth does not wound you. Truth breaks the invisible cages you didn't know surrounded your spirit. And once this truth settles into your awareness, everything that once felt chaotic, unpredictable, or painful will suddenly make sense. You will see the thread. You will see the hand of heaven. You will see the divine wisdom woven through every redirection. Archangel Michael is now lowering his sword. This lowering means the battle around you has ended. The unseen struggle, the spiritual confusion, the warfare of deception, it has all come to completion. You are stepping into victory, not because you fought perfectly, but because heaven shielded you effectively. The enemy tried to sabotage your clarity, but he failed. He tried to pull you backward, but you resisted. He tried to keep you blind, but your spirit remained awake. And God is saying, now you understand why I could not let you go back. This is the moment when your future becomes fully visible. This is where your purpose stands tall. This is where your heart rises above old wounds. This is where the new chapter begins, not in uncertainty, but in divine confidence. You will not return to who you were. You will not repeat old patterns. You will not fall for old temptations. You will not question your worth again. You have elevated. You have matured. You have awakened. And from this moment forward, you will walk with a spiritual authority that cannot be shaken. Beloved, stay close to this final message, because what God is placing in your spirit now will guide you into the next season with unwavering strength. Before you leave, support this mission by liking, commenting, sharing, hyping the message, and subscribing so every revelation reaches you without delay. Type "I step into my divine future" in the comments. Blessing code 000 is now activated. Heaven is moving through this message with purpose, and as your future shifts, you are being called to help shift the lives of others. When you support this mission, you are not donating, you are sowing into deliverance, into freedom, into clarity for souls who are still walking in the very darkness God pulled you from. The Lord says, "Those who water others shall themselves be watered," and today that verse is breathing over you with living fire. I say to you personally, as someone heaven has positioned for impact, your action right now becomes a prophetic seed that opens doors no enemy can close. Through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, your support becomes a spiritual weapon that pushes this message into the lives of those who are crying out for direction. And I declare with authority that every giver is stepping into a season of multiplied protection, divine favor, and accelerated breakthrough. Do not hesitate. Move with heaven's momentum. Act now.